My girlfriend laughed when I proposed at her birthday party. "You're like a brother to me," she said. After 5 years of planning our future together, I just nodded, said, "Thanks for the clarity," and walked away. What's up, Reddit? Imagine investing years into someone you thought you were building a life with, only for her to call you her brother in front of 35 people. Yeah, that happened to me. I'm Daniel, 29, a software engineer pulling in about $115,000 annually. I met Selena 5 years ago in college through mutual friends. She was this stunning marketing major. Perfect hair, the kind of smile that made you forget your own name. I was hooked immediately. But Jess, my best friend, saw through her act right away. "That girl's faker than a knockoff designer bag," Jess said after meeting her once. "She only talks to you when she needs something. And she flirts with other guys right in front of you, while you're paying for everything." "You're just being protective," I told her. "You don't know her like I do." Jess rolled her eyes. "Danny, I'm a woman. I know exactly what she is. She's collecting backup boyfriends like trading cards." Here's what I should have noticed. Selena never once introduced me as her boyfriend. Ever. It was always, "This is Daniel," or "Daniel and I are really close." When people asked directly if we were dating, she'd give this mysterious smile and say, "We have something special that doesn't need labels." Yeah, something special, all right. I was her unpaid personal assistant with 0 benefits. The thing that hooked me was how she talked about our future. But always when she wanted something. "When we get our first house, I want a big kitchen so I can cook for you." She couldn't boil water. "When we have kids, I hope they get your eyes and my nose." "When we get married, let's do something small and intimate." She had me planning our retirement while keeping me locked in relationship purgatory. Here's where I was a complete idiot. I thought I was being strategic by being the perfect provider. Selena's car breaks down. I show up with a rental car and $800 cash for repairs. Behind on rent. I Venmo her $1,200 before she's even finished asking. Moving apartments. I show up with a U-Haul, 3 friends, and catered lunch for everyone. Yes, I was that whipped. But hey, it's in the past now. One day, I sat down and calculated everything. Over 5 years, I'd spent $23,400 on her. That's not even counting labor, emotional support, or the opportunity cost of being on call 24/7. 23 grand. That's a Tesla Model 3 down payment. The intimacy issue should have been the biggest red flag. In 5 years, we'd barely gotten to second base. She always had some excuse. "I want our first time to be perfect." Physical stuff complicates things. Let's take it slow. Meanwhile, she'd wear tight dresses when we went out and flirt with guys for free meals, right in front of me. And taking it slow apparently only applied to me, because I later found out she was hooking up with random dating app guys within hours of matching with them. Me, the guy subsidizing her lifestyle? I got hand-holding and forehead kisses like we were in middle school. Selena's 28th birthday was my line in the sand. After 5 years of maybe dating, I was going to force the issue. Either we were official or I was done. I spent 3 months planning the perfect party. Rented the private room at her favorite restaurant. Hired a professional photographer. Coordinated with all her friends and family. Bought a $6,800 white gold ring with a 1.5-carat diamond. I knew her taste. She'd been jokingly showing me rings on Pinterest for 3 years, always pointing out the expensive ones. Jess warned me. "Danny, if she wanted to marry you, you'd already be engaged. Don't put yourself out there like this." But I was convinced. All those conversations about marriage, about forever. This was just the final step. The party was perfect. About 35 people, including her parents. Her mom had even asked me privately when I was going to make it official and mentioned she'd been saving her grandmother's wedding dress. After dinner, I stood up for the toast. I felt confident. "I want to say something about Selena," I began. The room went quiet, smiles starting as people realized what was coming. "These past 5 years with you have been incredible. You're my best friend, my partner, and the woman I want to spend my life with. You've made me a better man, and I can't imagine my future without you in it." Selena was beaming, looking beautiful in the blue dress I'd bought her. Then I got down on one knee. The whole room gasped. I opened the ring box. "Selena Marie, will you marry me?" The silence lasted maybe 3 seconds, but it felt like an hour. Then Selena started laughing. Not nervous giggles. Full-blown, uncontrollable laughter. Like I had just told the funniest joke she'd ever heard. "Oh my God, Daniel," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "That's so sweet, but you know we're just best friends, right? This is so awkward." She kept laughing while the whole room stared in horror. Her dad looked confused and angry. Her mom looked mortified. My friends looked ready to commit murder. And I'm still there on one knee, holding the ring. Then she kept going. "I mean, we've never even, you know," she said, making it worse. "Daniel's just always been so helpful and sweet, like a really good friend." I stood up slowly and slipped the ring back into my pocket. "Well," I said, forcing a laugh. "Good to know where we stand after 5 years." A few nervous laughs. Selena seemed genuinely confused by everyone's reaction, like she couldn't understand why calling me her brother might be weird. "Don't be upset," she said, patting my arm. "You'll find someone who wants that kind of relationship. We can even double date." Double date. She wanted to double date after rejecting my proposal in front of my entire family and friends. I stayed another hour, just to avoid immediate drama. But inside something had shifted. The hurt was already turning into something else. Selena hugged me when I left. "Thanks for such an amazing party. You always take such good care of me. You're seriously the best friend ever." Yeah. Well, customer service just closed permanently. I drove home in silence, mind racing. 5 years. $23,000. All those conversations about marriage and kids. And I'm her brother. That night, I didn't sleep. I planned. The next morning, Selena texted me, "Last night was perfect. Sorry if that was weird with the proposal thing, but I'm glad we cleared the air. You're seriously the best friend a girl could ask for. Can you help me move my dresser this weekend?" I stared at that text for a long time. The casual dismissal. The assumption that I'd just go back to normal after being humiliated. The immediate request for more free labor. She acted like nothing happened. That's when it clicked. Selena was a textbook narcissist. Not in the meme way, in the actual clinical sense. She genuinely couldn't comprehend that other people's feelings mattered more than her convenience. I called Jess and told her what happened. Jesus. Danny. In front of everyone? That's brutal. And then she asked you to move furniture the next day? Yeah. You tried to warn me. What are you going to do? I'm thinking about it. Jess was quiet for a minute. You know what? Good. It's about time you got mad instead of just sad. That girl has been using you for years. That afternoon, I did something I'd never done before. I made a comprehensive inventory. Not just money. Everything. Bank statements. Venmo history. Receipts in my email. The total. $23,400 over 5 years. But that didn't even count the labor. So I started a spreadsheet. Hours helping her move. 89. Times driving her to the airport. 31. Emergency runs to her apartment for crises. 67. Hours spent listening to her work drama. 300 plus, easily. At my billable rate. Another $45,000 in free consulting. Then I made a list of every guy she dated while keeping me around as backup. Derek, the personal trainer. 8 months. Michael, the bartender. 6 months. Alex from yoga. 4 months. Some finance guy I never even learned the name of. 3 months. That wannabe influencer with face tattoos. 2 months. She cycled through these dudes for romance and hookups. Then came crying to me when it all fell apart. I was the emotional janitor, cleaning up the mess after every failed fling. I was basically subsidizing her lifestyle and getting nothing in return except the privilege of hearing about her romantic adventures with other men. But here's what really started to make me angry. I remembered specific conversations where she'd mock guys who were clingy or expected too much. She literally complained to me about men who wanted commitment while I was paying her rent. Selena had been running a 5-year con, and she was so confident about it that she humiliated me publicly, assuming I'd just take it and keep funding her lifestyle. Time to show this girl what happens when the mark figures out the game. I spent the next week doing research. I knew this girl better than anyone. Her insecurities, her dependencies, her social media patterns, her work situation, her family dynamics. If I was going to destroy her life, I needed to do it right. Selena was fundamentally lazy and had never developed adult life skills because there was always someone, usually me, handling things for her. She was also deeply insecure despite her fake confidence, which is why she needed constant attention and validation. Most importantly, she was financially irresponsible and lived way beyond her means because she always had me as a safety net. That safety net was about to vanish. I started with psychological warfare. Selena was used to me replying instantly to her texts, so I implemented a delay system. First day, 6-hour delays. Second day, 12 hours. By the end of week 1, I was taking 36+ hours to respond, if I even responded at all. Her confusion was immediate and honestly satisfying. "Why aren't you texting me back?" she called to ask after day 3. "I've been busy." "Busy with what? You always text me back immediately." Things change. Day 5, her AC broke during a heat wave. Normally, I'd have been over there with tools and a backup window unit within the hour. "Danny, it's like 95 degrees in here, and my landlord isn't answering. Can you come look at it? I'm literally dying. You should call a repair company." "But you know about this stuff. They'll charge like $300 just to show up." "Yeah, that's how businesses work. Wild concept." "Don't be mean. I really need help." "I'm being realistic." She ended up paying $420 for same-day service. I know because she sent me the receipt with crying emojis, apparently thinking I'd feel guilty and offer to split it. I just replied, "Adulting is expensive." Day 8, car trouble. Her battery died in a Target parking lot. Instead of me coming to rescue her, she had to call AAA and wait 3 hours because she'd let her membership lapse. "I can't believe you didn't answer when I really needed you," she texted. "I was in meetings all day." Since when do you not step out of meetings for emergencies? Since when is a dead battery an emergency? You have AAA. I let it expire because you always help with car stuff. I didn't bother responding. Day 12. Her kitchen sink started leaking and flooded her bathroom floor. Emergency plumber on a Sunday? $650. "This is ridiculous," she texted me, sending photos of the damage. "I can't afford all these repairs. Maybe start an emergency fund." With what money? You know how expensive everything is. Other people manage. By week 2, her texts were getting frantic. "What's going on with you? You're being so weird and cold. Did I do something wrong? Just treating you like the friend you said I was. But we've always been close friends. This feels different." How? She couldn't answer because she'd never had to think about what she was actually getting from me. In her mind, all the things I did weren't part of our friendship. They were just part of my personality. The breaking point came during her monthly meltdown about work drama. Usually, I'd drop everything, spend 4 hours on the phone, then show up with ice cream and comfort food. This time, when she called crying about her boss being unfair and her project deadline, I let it go to voicemail. She called back immediately. I declined. Third call, I finally answered. "What's up? Why didn't you answer? I really need to talk. I'm watching a movie. Can't you pause it? This is important." "What's the emergency?" "My boss is being a complete jerk and I'm having a panic attack." "Then you should call your doctor about the panic attack." "Daniel, I don't need a doctor. I need you. Call Ashley." She's better with work stuff anyway. Ashley doesn't understand me like you do. Maybe expand your support system. I hung up. She called back 6 more times. I ignored all of them. The next day, she showed up at my apartment at 7 a.m. with Starbucks and tears. "We need to talk," she said, pushing past me into my living room. I couldn't sleep. "You're acting so strange, and it's freaking me out." She sat on my couch like she owned the place. "Look, I get that the proposal thing was awkward, but we can't let it ruin our friendship." "What friendship? We've been best friends for 5 years. Name one thing you've done for me in 5 years." What? That's not fair. "One thing, Selena. One sacrifice you made for me." She just stared at me like I'd asked her to solve calculus. "I listened to you. When have I ever called you with a problem?" "You don't have problems. Your life is perfect." "My life looked perfect because I couldn't afford to have problems while I was solving yours." She started tearing up. "You're being a jerk. This isn't like you. This is exactly like me. You just never paid attention before." By week 3, I got creative. Selena had left stuff at my place over the years. Clothes, books, makeup, a laptop charger, some jewelry. So, when she texted asking for her stuff back, I treated her like any other casual acquaintance. "Sure. I'll be home Saturday between 1 and 3. Can't you just drop it off? You know where I live." "I'm not making a special trip. Saturday between 1 and 3, or it goes to Goodwill." She showed up at 1:05, looking like she hadn't slept in days. I handed her a garbage bag with her stuff. "A garbage bag? Really? Some of this stuff is expensive. You're being so petty." "It's all there." She started rummaging through it right on my doorstep. "Where's my blue cashmere sweater? My good makeup bag? My grandmother's earrings? If it's not in there, I don't have it. But I know I left them here. The earrings alone are worth $800. I shrugged. "Must have lost them." Truth. I'd sold the earrings on eBay for $650, donated the sweater to Goodwill, and tossed the makeup bag in a dumpster behind a convenience store. Petty. Absolutely. Satisfying. You bet. But the real psychological damage came from social media warfare. I started posting again after weeks of silence. Nothing about Selena directly. Just me out hiking with friends, eating at restaurants, grabbing coffee with coworkers. Looking happy and busy. Each post sent the same message. "My life is better without you in it." Her response was predictable. Sad posting on Instagram stories. Missing someone who doesn't miss you back. Sometimes people show their true colors. Trust is so fragile. All designed to make me feel guilty. So I posted a story of my own, a photo of the ring box unopened, sitting on my kitchen counter next to my car keys. Caption: "Some decisions make themselves." Within an hour, my DMs were flooded. People asking what happened, offering support, questioning Selena's behavior. The narrative was shifting, and she could see it in real time. Her stories grew more desperate. "It's not always about you, Daniel. Some people need to grow up and communicate. Truth always comes out in the end." But here's the beautiful part. Her own friends started asking questions. Mike told me Selena's coworker asked him if she'd been leading me on after seeing my ring post. Her cousin even commented on Facebook, asking why she'd friend-zoned such a good guy. Her college roommate messaged me directly. "Dude, what happened? Selena's been posting cryptic stuff all week." Then Selena made her biggest mistake. She tried to control the narrative with a long Facebook rant about fake friends who abandon you when you need them most, and how some men think they're owed something just for being nice. Bad move. So I crafted my own Facebook post. Calculated. Devastating. Interesting take from someone who accepted $23,400 in financial support over 5 years while dating other people, then laughed at a proposal in front of both families. But sure, I'm the fake friend for expecting basic respect. Thanks everyone for the support during this transition. Life's actually amazing when you stop subsidizing other people's delusions. I included a photo of my spreadsheet, amounts blurred but still visible enough to show they were substantial. The comments section exploded. Selena's own friends started sharing shady moments they'd witnessed over the years. Her college roommate commented, "Wait, you proposed after all those times?" She said you guys were just friends. Girl. Her work friend, Jessica, wrote, "This explains so much about her dating patterns." Even some of her family members liked the post. Selena deleted her original post within an hour, but by then, screenshots were already circulating. That's when the phone calls started. She called me crying, screaming, bargaining, going through all the highlights. "You can't post our private business on Facebook. You made it public when you humiliated me in front of everyone. I never asked you to spend that money. You never offered to pay it back either. You're ruining my reputation." I told her, "I'm just telling the truth. Take it down or You'll what? Sue me for posting facts?" She hung up, then immediately went into damage control. She posted her own response about a bitter ex-friend, financial manipulation, and how I was weaponizing money. But it was already too late. Selena was losing control of the story, and she knew it. By week 4, Selena was in full panic mode. The girl who had never handled adult problems alone was drowning, and I was just getting started. Her car registration expired. She had no idea how to renew it online. She spent an entire day at the DMV because she'd never done it herself. Then her laptop crashed, and since she didn't know how to back up files, she lost a week of work and had to pay Best Buy $300 just to recover everything. Her apartment lease was up for renewal, and she had no clue how to negotiate rent. Ended up paying $200 more a month because she was too intimidated to counteroffer. But I wasn't done. Selena had always been financially reckless, because she knew I'd always be her safety net. So when her credit card got declined at dinner with friends, and she had to text her mom for money like a college freshman, I knew my plan was working perfectly. Then came the masterstroke. I knew Selena's patterns better than she knew them herself. Every few months she'd have some crisis that required immediate financial help. Usually car repairs or medical bills. And funny enough, it always happened right before rent was due, almost like she planned it that way. So I waited. Like a spider. Sure enough, 3 days before month's end, Selena texted me, "Danny, I know things have been weird between us, but my car needs new brakes and I'm short on rent this month. Can you help? I'll pay you back as soon as I get my bonus next month, please." The same script she'd been using for 5 years. But this time, my answer was different. "Sorry, can't help with that. It's just $1,200. You've helped me before." That was different. We can still help each other as friends. "Show me where you helped me financially in the past 5 years. Silence. Because she hadn't. Not once. Finally, she replied, "That's not fair. You know I don't make as much as you do. Then maybe live within your means." She ended up borrowing money from her parents. The humiliation was perfect. But it got better. Her dad called me. Selena's own father called to apologize. "Daniel, I had no idea Selena was taking money from you all these years. Her mother and I are horrified." "It's not your fault, Mr. Peterson." "It absolutely is. We raised her better than this. I want you to know we're cutting her off financially. If she's old enough to use men for money, she's old enough to support herself. I appreciate that, but you don't need to." "Yes, we do. What she did to you at that birthday party was unforgivable. You deserved better, son." Within 24 hours, Selena's parents had cut off her financial safety net too. Her mom stopped paying her car insurance. Her dad stopped covering her phone bill. Her monthly grocery money? Gone overnight. Selena called Jess crying, begging her to fix things with her parents. Jess's response? "Have you tried taking responsibility for your actions instead of expecting everyone else to clean up your messes?" But I was just getting warmed up. I knew Selena had been telling people at work that she was in a complicated relationship situation to explain her recent emotional instability. One of her coworkers, Jessica, followed me on Instagram. We'd met at a few parties, so I got strategic. I started posting gym photos with captions like, "New goals, new mindset." Pictures of dinners at expensive restaurants. Weekend trips with friends. Every post was carefully crafted to show I was thriving without her. Selena's response? "It's complicated. Daniel doesn't understand adult relationships. He thinks money equals love." The irony was beautiful. But the piece de resistance came when she tried to get our mutual friends to intervene. "Daniel's being really cold to Selena," Lisa told Jess. "She asked me to talk to him about whatever happened between them." Jess's response was surgical. "Selena used my brother as a personal ATM for 5 years while hooking up with other guys, then publicly. Humiliated him when he proposed. Now she's mad her meal ticket got revoked? Maybe she should ask one of those dating app hookups for rent money." The story was out there now. People were connecting dots. Asking questions Selena couldn't answer without admitting she'd been a financial predator. And the workplace karma? Oh, it was delicious. Selena's emotional instability started affecting her job. She called in sick frequently, missed deadlines, and was apparently crying in meetings. Her boss pulled her aside for a wellness conversation about her performance issues. Selena tried to explain she was going through a personal situation, but what could she say? "My unpaid personal assistant quit, and now I don't know how to function like an adult." The final straw came when she asked her coworker Brad to help her move apartments one weekend. Brad barely knew her beyond small talk. When he declined, Selena had a complete meltdown in the break room about how no one cares about anyone anymore, and how people are so selfish these days. HR got involved. Selena was put on a performance improvement plan with mandatory counseling. Mike heard all of this through Jessica, who witnessed the break room meltdown firsthand. Apparently, Selena tried to play it off as just having a bad day, but multiple coworkers had already noticed her erratic behavior and constant personal phone calls. She was struggling on every front: financial, emotional, professional, social. And I was just getting started. 3 months after going nuclear, I was a completely different person. Work was thriving. I was consistent at the gym. I had time for hobbies. And I was dating again. Her name was Allison. She worked at a tech startup, made $85,000, solved her own problems, and paid for her own meals. She was beautiful, but didn't weaponize it. Smart. Confident. We'd been dating for 8 weeks when it happened. Allison and I were having dinner at Morello's, the same restaurant where Selena had humiliated me. First time back there. Allison knew the significance. We were talking about taking a weekend trip to her friend's cabin in Lake Tahoe when I saw Selena walk in. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed and greasy, baggy clothes that didn't fit, dark circles under her eyes like she hadn't slept in days. She was with some guy I didn't recognize. He looked like he wanted to escape. I thought about warning Allison but decided against it. Selena was the past. Allison was my present. But Selena spotted me within minutes. She kept staring over at our table, pretending to listen to her date but failing miserably. The poor guy looked completely confused. Allison noticed right away. "Is that your ex?" she asked quietly. Something like that. But Selena wasn't content to just stare. 30 minutes later, while Allison was in the bathroom, she marched straight over to my table like a heat-seeking missile. "Daniel," she said, trying to sound casual but failing. "Fancy seeing you here." "Selena, how have you been? You look different. Good different." "I'm doing great," she lied, glancing around nervously. "Who's your friend?" "Allison. My girlfriend." The word hit her like a slap. Her face went white, then red, then white again. "Girlfriend already? It's only been like 3 months. Actually, it's been 4 months since you rejected my proposal. But who's counting?" Her face twisted with rage and disbelief. 2 months. But we only. When did you? How could you move on so fast? Turns out it's easy to move on when someone shows you they never actually wanted you in the first place. Allison returned from the bathroom just then, and I watched Selena's expression shift as she took her in. Allison was everything Selena pretended to be. Naturally beautiful, successful, genuinely confident. The comparison was brutal. Allison extended her hand politely, reading the situation perfectly. "Nice to meet you." Selena just stared, like she'd seen a ghost. Then her fake sweetness came back. "So you're the rebound," she said with a poisonous smile. Allison raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me. I mean, Daniel's been in love with me for 5 years. You're probably just a way to make me jealous. It's actually kind of sad." The restaurant went quieter. People were staring. Selena's date walked over, looking mortified. Allison looked at me, then back at Selena, and smiled. "Actually, Daniel told me all about you. You're the girl who used him as a personal ATM while you dated other guys, right?" Then laughed when he proposed. Selena's face went red. "That's not. We had something special. Special enough that you rejected his proposal in front of everyone." "I didn't reject it. It was unexpected. You don't understand. Daniel and I have history. We have a deep connection." "Had," I corrected. "Past tense." "Don't say that," Selena snapped, her composure finally cracking. "You can't just throw away 5 years. I made one mistake. Using my money for 5 years while dating other people wasn't a mistake. It was a business model." People were definitely watching now. Selena's date looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. Her voice kept getting louder. "Daniel, tell them we had something real." "We didn't." Selena started crying, mascara running down her cheeks like black rivers. "You can't be with her. She doesn't know you like I do. I need you." She screamed it loud enough for the whole restaurant to hear. And there it was, like I was some service she subscribed to. Allison stood up calmly. "Come on, Daniel. Let's go somewhere with better entertainment." I threw cash on the table and stood up. Selena grabbed my arm desperately. "Please don't leave," she whispered, but loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "I can't do this without you. I'll do anything. I'll pay you back. I'll make it right." Allison and I walked toward the exit. Behind us, Selena was crying harder, her date trying to calm her down while diners whispered and stared. The staff was moving toward their table. As we reached the door, I heard Selena shout, "She'll never love you like I do." I turned back one last time. "You loved what I could do for you. There's a difference." The entire restaurant was staring at her now. Her date looked mortified and was clearly planning his escape. The manager was already approaching their table. Allison squeezed my hand as we got in her car. "Wow, what a complete mess. She's not usually that unhinged." "Oh, she's completely unhinged. But in a pathetic way, nothing scary." We drove back to Allison's place, made coffee, and had a quiet, peaceful evening. "I'm sorry you had to see that," I said. "Are you kidding? That was better than Netflix." Selena texted me 31 times that night. Apologies, explanations, threats, desperate attempts to salvage something from the wreckage. I blocked her number without reading most of them, but not before screenshotting the best ones to send to Jess. The highlights. "She's just using you for your money, like I would never do. You're making a huge mistake, and you'll realize it when she shows her true colors. I know I hurt you, but we belong together. Fine, be with that witch, but don't come crying to me when it doesn't work out." She was having a complete breakdown. Beautiful. That restaurant meltdown was just the beginning of Selena's unraveling. The best part? She did most of the work herself. What I didn't know was that she'd started a full-on campaign to destroy my reputation and win me back at the same time. She was demaying my friends, co-workers, even my cousins, spinning some sob story about how I'd abandoned her in her time of need. The problem was everyone knew the real story now. My coworker Jake forwarded me her message. "Daniel and I were together for 5 years and he just cut me off completely over a misunderstanding. I'm really worried about him because this isn't like him. Can you talk to him?" Jake's response was perfect. If by together you mean you used him as a personal ATM, then yeah, I heard about that misunderstanding where you laughed at his proposal. Maybe don't contact his coworkers about your personal drama. She tried the same stunt with my gym buddy, my neighbor, even my dentist's office. Every time she got shut down harder. But the real breakdown came when she tried to get our mutual friends to choose sides. She organized a girls' night to tell her side of the story. According to Lisa, who filled Jess in, Selena spent 3 hours painting me as a manipulative, controlling ex who used money to try to force her into a relationship she didn't want. The girls listened politely, but they weren't buying it. Ashley finally spoke up. Selena, you literally asked Daniel to pay your rent last month, 3 months after rejecting his proposal. How is that him being controlling? Girls' night ended early, and Selena's last real friend group dissolved overnight. But she kept spiraling. She'd apparently taken out a payday loan to cover her expenses after I cut her off and her parents stopped helping. The interest rates were brutal, and she was drowning. She tried to get a second job at Target to make ends meet. But she'd never worked retail and couldn't handle the physical work or customer service. She quit after 2 weeks, claiming her manager discriminated against her for being educated. Her main job wasn't going much better. She was on a strict schedule with regular check-ins, but she couldn't adjust to accountability. Then came the eviction notice. She'd been late on rent for 3 months straight, and her landlord finally had enough. 30 days to pay up or get out. She didn't have the money. She tried everything, applied for emergency assistance, denied because she made too much on paper, tried for a loan, denied because of her terrible credit, even considered moving back with her parents. But they'd made it clear she wasn't welcome. In desperation, she started selling her stuff, but it wasn't enough. She was still short on rent, and time was running out. That's when she made her final desperate move. She showed up at my office. My receptionist called, "Daniel, there's a woman here to see you." I almost had security escort her out, but I wanted to see how far she'd fallen. She looked even worse than at the restaurant. Thinner, paler, clearly had been crying. "What do you want, Selena?" I'm in trouble. Real trouble. Not my problem. Please, just listen. I'm about to be evicted. I don't have anywhere to go. Sounds rough. I know I hurt you, but I'm desperate. Can you help me one last time? After everything she'd put me through, she still thought she could just show up asking for money. Nope. I'll pay you back with interest. I'll get another job. I'll do anything. The answer is still no. I was young and stupid and I don't care, she broke down, crying harder. I'll be homeless. You'll figure it out. You're resourceful when you need to be. She stared at me like I was a stranger. Maybe I was. You've changed, she whispered. I've learned my worth. Something you never bothered to figure out. Security escorted her out after she refused to leave. She was still crying, still begging. That was 8 months ago. Last I heard through the grapevine, she'd moved back to her hometown to live with her aunt, working at a call center, living in a studio apartment. Her social media presence had basically vanished. She tried to contact me one last time on my birthday. A long email about how she'd learned so much about herself. It ended with, "I know you're happy with Allison, but I hope someday we can be friends again. You were the best person in my life, and I was too stupid to see it." I showed it to Allison. She just shook her head. She still doesn't get it. Nope. Some people never learn. I deleted the email without responding. Got engaged to Allison 2 months ago. Used the same ring Selena rejected, but had it reset in a style Allison preferred. She said yes before I even finished asking, then tackled me with excitement. "I was wondering when you were going to ask," she laughed. "I've been ready since our 3rd date. Turns out when someone actually wants to marry you, they don't need 5 years to think about it. We're planning a destination wedding in Costa Rica next spring. Small ceremony, close friends and family only. 2 months until the wedding, and I've never been happier. Life's pretty amazing when you stop subsidizing other people's delusions and start investing in people who actually value you. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube, this video deserves to blow up.